Now, number 3, again, looks similar here. We've got our little menu of numbers. The only difference is now they've switched the words on us again, and they say product, right, which product means to multiply. Multiply. So what we're looking for is we're looking for two numbers that would multiply to a negative 24. And again, there's different numbers that would multiply to this, but we're limited to what's in our little menu here of options. So what times what makes a negative 24? Probably for me, first thing that maybe jumps out is what about 6, negative 6 and 4, right? So if I said 4 times negative 6, negative 6 times 4 gives me a negative 24. How can I explain my answer here? And this is one important thing that a lot of times with multiplication, you memorize your times table way back in elementary school, but if we ask the question to explain why is negative 6 times 4 equal to negative 24, you may not be quite sure how to put that into words. Well, one thing to remember here is that multiplication is really, it's a shortcut. It's a shortcut for repeated addition. And let me show you just repeated addition. And so let me show you real quick what I mean by that. Is that negative 6 times 4 means take negative 6 and add it 4 times. Or another way to think of that is that you have 4 groups of negative 6. Well, if I said negative 6 plus negative 6, right, that's negative 12, plus another negative 6, right, that's a negative 18, and then plus another negative 6, well, that's a negative 24, right? So 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 gives me the 24. Now you're wondering, why do I have to write all that out? Well, that's why we multiply, because we don't want to write all that out, right? So instead of saying negative 6 plus negative 6 plus negative 6 plus negative 6, we say negative 6 times 4. But in terms of kind of explaining our answer, or kind of the proof of that, this is us showing the idea of multiplication being repeated addition. Could we have done that with another number? Let's double check over there. I think we could have done, looks like we could have done negative 2, and how about 12, right? So let's see, would this have worked? So maybe kind of same idea on that one that says take negative 2 and add it up 12 times. Well, this is a good example, again, of why we multiply. I don't want to write all this out. This is way too much. To take negative 2 and write it out 12 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, right? So that should be 12 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, that's why we multiply. So instead of writing all that out, that's why we do this. But again, that's the reason behind it. Also, too, if you don't have all your times table memorized, that's okay, because as long as you can mentally do this, then you can still come up with the right answer. So, let's say that you weren't sure about what 5 times 8 is. Well, count by 5s 8 times. So if I said 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 5 times 8 is 40, right? So even if you don't have your times table memorized, you can still answer these questions just by what's called skip counting, right? So when we count by a certain number, count by 2s, count by 5s, it's called skip counting. So as long as we can skip count, then we should be able to get to the number that we need to. All right, so let's go ahead and pause now and try 3.2 on the right side.